Hiya knitters! In this week's video I'll be showing you how to knit this headband. It's a pattern that I've adapted from the Hot Mess headband by Hiyahiya. I'll put a link to that pattern just below, but keep watching to see my slightly tweaked version. To start, I am using Amaranthus by Mulberry Yarns. This is an amazing yarn shop which I'll put a link to below. In this one I just love the different tones of burnt red that shows throughout your work. To knit, I'm using items from our Sharp Standard set. I'm combining a 4-inch 3mm needle with a 16-inch cable. To do this, you are best using a set of needle grips. Lightly screw the tip onto the cable and then use these grips to tighten it. You will also need these grips to loosen it. This is to ensure that as you're knitting and the cable's rotating, it doesn't unscrew the tip from it, it keeps it nice and secure. To start, cast on 22 stitches. As usual, I'm using my long tail cast on method to do this. I'll put a link to a few of my tutorials on the basic of knitting to the right for any new knitters watching this. Now this is a very simple pattern where both sides are knitted the same way, so it's a rib stitch all the way through. This is knit 1, purl 1, repeated until the end of the row, flip, and then knit 1, purl 1 repeated until the end of the row again. I'm making this headband about 20 inches long, but it'll be broken down into sections. The first section you're going to be knitting for 4 inches, so rib stitch for about 4 inches. And to keep my work neat, I'm slipping the first stitch of every row without knitting into it. Now that I've knitted 4 inches, I've changed my tips from a 4-inch 3mm needle to a 4-inch 5mm needle. This will increase the width of the piece without having to increase any stitches. The aim of this is for the back of the headband to be thinner than the front, which is easily achieved by changing your needle gauge. I'm now going to continue in a rib stitch for 6 more inches. As I mentioned before, these needles are from our Sharp Standard Interchangeable needle set. The one I'm using for this is a small set, in which you get 7 tips ranging from 2.75mm to 5mm. There's 4 small cables ranging from 16 to 40 inches, a sheet needle gauge, small cable connector, cable key and needle grips, all presented in your choice of an interchangeable needle case or a circular needle case. We do a full range of sets in sharp steel and bamboo and even crochet hooks, which all make excellent gifts. I'll put a link below that will take you to our website so you can see our full range. So back to my headband. Once I have rib stitched for 6 inches, I'll have a piece that measures 10 inches. This is when I want to make my twist. To do this, I will use a cable needle. We sell them in packs of 3, in small, medium and large, and for this project I'll be using the green one, which is the medium size. So I slip the first 11 stitches onto the cable needle without knitting into them. Then starting with a purl, I continued in rib stitch until the end of the work. Now this part can be fiddly, so just be careful not to drop any stitches. I continued knitting onto my right needle using the stitches from the cable needle, starting with a knit stitch, continuing in rib. And what this is doing is bringing the right half of my project over and to the left, which is what creates that twist. For a few rows, this is going to be a bit tight knitting into them, might be a bit fiddly, but it will get easier the more rows that you knit. From here, it's mirroring the first part of the work, So for 6 more inches, carry on and rib stitch on the 5mm tips, then switch to the 4mm tips and knit another 4 inches of rib using them. Once it measures 20 inches, I cast off. I will be using my trusty Octopus Snips and Darn It darning needle to do this. Now before sewing up, I made sure to lay out the headband flat on the table so I can make sure the twist looks right. This can go a little bit weird if you fold it the wrong way at this point, so be sure you've got it flat looking similar to this. Then take both ends, meet them in the middle, and using your Darn It darning needle, quickly sew up both sides together. And as ever, weave in your ends, and then you'll have a finished headband. This is a quick and easy project that makes for an excellent gift in the cold months to come. The yarn that you use for this is making me feel especially Christmassy, and I feel I'll be making quite a few of these for the girls in the office. Everything I've used in this video is listed below. If you're a retailer looking at stocking Hiyahiya, there will be a link to becoming a stockist with us. And if you're wondering where you can purchase any of these wonderful items in this video, there is also a link below to our existing stockists, so you can find a local vendor near you. As usual, please like, subscribe and comment, and until next time, happy knitting!